Hey, good afternoon, tubulators, guys and gals. Today we're going to be working on the 82 bullnose Ford. So today we're focusing on steering, and I have a special, very special part here. Got ourselves a brand new, well, a properly remanufactured, well, hopefully properly remanufactured steering box. I've used these before. Put one on a 89 Ford Bronco, which you've probably seen in a video or two on this channel. We put that in many years ago. God, I think we probably put that in 4 years ago. Still working great. No problems, no leaks, no play in the steering. We've been pretty happy with that steering box. So I went and bought one for my truck. This one here is going to be kind of nice. It's ported, tapped and ported. So you got a fitting there, and what that allows us to do is to throw a steering ram on this truck, which is something I'm looking at maybe doing. But my steering box is basically, it's leaking really bad at the sector shaft down here. Looks like this has got all new shafts on it too. That's nice. But yeah, usually these steering boxes, you get a remanufactured one from like the big part store, and it's like still got a mile of play in it. I've actually upgraded this truck, well, upgraded this truck a couple times. I bought this Performance, and again, sorry about the air quotes, but Performance, and that steering box just had 15 miles of play in it. You'll hear a lot of people talk about red top having issues, and people go to blue top, but I'm gonna go with these guys. And someone's gonna say, why didn't you go blue top? 'Cause I didn't. So what do we got going on here? Well, I'm gonna have to go put some pants on. It's kind of breezy. Put some pants on. I have pants on. I'm wearing shorts. Now my power steering pump's a little bit back here. All I'm gonna do is take my fluid extractor. I'm gonna stick the straw down there, and I'm gonna pull the fluid out of it. We need to pull as much fluid out of this as possible because we're gonna be converting from ATF to regular power steering fluid. And the main reason for that is for the steering ram that we're gonna be running. From what I understand, they want you to run regular power steering fluid in them and not ATF. This is another thing we're going to upgrade. Mine's in good shape right now. Okay, steering wheel's locked. But this steering shaft we're going to end up upgrading. I'm actually debating on if I want to order that now. But we got a 10 millimeter bolt here. We're going to remove the 10 mil. Pull the steering shaft back. Looks like this has been leaking. Well, this is probably from my before the engine rebuild. We'll get this off of here. We'll get these lines off. We are going to need to get a drip pan under here and let the fluid drain. And then after we get these off, we need to come downstairs, get our drag link detached from our pitman arm, and then it's 3 bolts and the steering box is out of here. Don't you love these old trucks? I get you in closer, but I gotta work too, you know. So, okay, 10 mil. You know, I'm gonna get this done this weekend because I'm going for a doctor's appointment on Monday, and I'd like to send this back so I can get my $100 core. Here's our bolt. We'll clean that up. Apologize for the sniffling noises I got going on. It's a little cold. Oh, look at that. Come off, no problem. Another thing we're going to be doing is getting rid of this power steering cooler. I'm going to be running something different on this truck. Yeah, this input bearing is getting a little wore out. It's probably going to be a 16. Yep. Pressure line's a 14. Oh no. We're gonna be due for a tool purge here. 13mm. The other reason for doing a Redhead steering box is the people who rebuild these, they're up in Auburn, Washington, which, at least until I decide to move, they're not too far from me. Probably a couple 100 miles. So if I did have a problem with this, we can throw it in a box, hop it in the old Fusion there, scream up to Washington, and away we go. Instead of Blue Top, I think they're somewhere not near Oregon. No O-rings on this one, which is nice. This guy here, I think I usually bust him loose with a some kind of auto nut rounder. Oh, look at that, 5/8. 5/8 or 16mm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get my pipe cutter and we'll nip this off. I don't know if I have a big enough flaring tool to flare that up. Should we go grab some gloves? Yeah, we have some unfinished business with this truck. I've neglected this truck for several years now. And these little shortcomings I got here with the crappy steering box and just crappy steering, really. I'm a little over it. I actually have a cooler that we can run on this, and I have this air dam down here. Almost thought about making some kind of mount for the cooler, and we'll put it there. Yeah, let's get this contraption out of here. Okay, we've got our lines undone. We want to make sure we have this nice and clean. We'll hook that up over there so she's out of our way. So now we need to go downstairs. We'll be able to do that without taking a wheel off. We gotta go downstairs and get our drag link off our pitman arm. You can see my track bar bracket here. Unfortunately, my track bar kit that I ordered for this, it was back ordered. So what I've opted to do is, we'll get into this in the other video, but there's an issue up here that we're gonna fix. I know how to. It's gonna take a little bit of work, but we can do it. But basically, there's supposed to be a bolt right in here, and there's some weird pin rivet thing that's right here that stopped me from putting a bolt there, and I think that's what's causing my problems. So we'll get to that, and I have a heim joint on the way for this end here. So we'll be able to put a heim joint in there, and that should fix that. And yeah, but that's for the next video. What we need to do here, let's get our split pin out of here. I do have to go to Napa here in a hot minute. I'll probably pick up some new split pins. I want to get a bunch of power steering fluid. Okay, I think that's a 19. Nope, 7/8. Oh, look at that, wasn't even tight. Uh-oh. I was so mad. I bought this performance steering box for this thing many years ago when I first put the Cummins in, I think, and it just sucked. Nothing like a grease fire in the morning. Because I got this thing in the way. I also want to get in here and check the frame, make sure I don't have any cracks. Because if we have cracks, we're going to be mutilating this truck and building our other bullnose. To be perfectly honest, that's what's going to happen to this truck. It'll get mutilated and we'll build up. We'll pull the 3.0T, even though I just put an Edelbrock carburetor in it. We'll pull that out, put the Cummins in it. Actually, we might just put a 351 in it. Okay. This is where I'm going to loosen this bolt up. Yeah, the steering box just moved on us. Not coming out. There we go. It's a boy! Yoy, yoy. In the instructions, Redhead says to clean up your core, drain it of fluid. I'm going to probably put it in a bin or something and rotate this. Maybe. And I just found something already that we got to be careful of. There's a burr right here. Let me show you guys what I'm seeing here. I'm sending this video to Redhead so that they can see this. There. So I like to show using people's products. So when we get in here, look at that. That return line looks okay, but the pressure side doesn't look too good. Now, take a look at mine. It's like beautiful. So if we get a leak there, yeah, we're gonna have a problem. We'll run it. We'll see what happens. I just wish that wasn't a thing. That worked great. Huh. Okay. That worked better than I thought. It's all lubricated. That's why it came apart. This steering box actually doesn't have a lot of play in it. It really, all it does is it just leaks. Like, the moment I turn this input shaft, it turns. So, or this turns. So, I didn't have any play. All my play is in my, I think, oh, but check that out. Yeah, there's play in the sector shaft. You hear that? So the worm drive is good, but our sector shaft's wore out. We probably could adjust this one, but every time I adjust it, actually I think I have adjusted this one. and it all it did was make it tighter, and it still had play. Get that in your teeth. Okay, let's go get a socket for that. Okay, we get some tension on that. We're gonna have to probably beat on that a little bit. Conveniently. I have this right here. We may have to put some heat on her. You hear that? Hear that change? I think it's actually loosening up. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah. Oh! Now, kind of moving this around, there's this much play. I'm doing this much right here, and this is barely moving. So, there is definitely play in this box. And when you add a 14-inch steering wheel into this, it really exaggerates the problem. Oh, there's some more fluid. You can feel it when it hits some fluid there. This is getting a lot easier. There's some fluid right there. Okay, so Redhead, when they ship their boxes, they put bolts in the threads here, and these are just to keep thread integrity bolts. That's what they are, not for mounting. They want you to return these with the core, so we need to put those back in. I don't know why they do it. It seems a little excessive to me, but whatever. Details do make a difference. Now, speaking of details, I want to show you something here. So I'm going to take this paint off because any machinist would know that when you're mounting something that is not supposed to move or flex and needs to maintain, the clamping force needs to be maintained. These surfaces you want clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the paint off of here with the wire wheel. And then right here we've got a little bit of a burr sticking up that's quite excessive. We don't want that butt up against our frame. We want this to sit flat against our frame. Because if not, there's a possibility that this, not being clamped all the way, is going to want to flex. And that's how we crack frames. You might say, Jimmy, what are we going to do about that burr? Just a kiss now. Could we have just done that one step? Sure. Yep. Mm-hmm. And running out of brake cleaner is like running out of beer. Isn't that what Southman Auto said? Pretty sure he did. Make sure the threads are nice and clean, because we are going to put some blue Loctite, which I think I have some. Nope, I don't. So this springs back and then locks into the... Okay, sure. Okay, yep. I don't know if this yellow paint is a factory deal. It did come off a brick nose IDI truck. Well, all the fun stuff down below is reattached. Track bar is snuggulated. The only thing we haven't done is fully tighten the Pitman arm nut. We'll get to that once we get the drag link attached to the truck, because then we'll be able to have something to hold it. I'm going to attach the high pressure line, and then the low pressure I'm going to snip that end off. We'll put that on here, and like I said, later we're going to put a cooler in here instead of having that big dangly bit down there. Kind of over having that. Yeah, so let's get cracking. There were no O-rings on this. This is like a flare fitting, so it just kind of goes on there. So I'm thinking we could do something like this. Okay, I got that tight. This is tight. We're not rubbing up against anything. Cool. So that's tight. These two might rub, which I don't like, so but we're going to change that here soon. We need to kind of change the position of the deal there. People need to stop with the studded tires. It's so loud. Wrong one. Get that nice and tight. We're gonna fill this up with fluid now. I'm gonna go get a funnel, clean it out. I'm gonna fill her up, and then we're just gonna rotate the wheels a few times until we start to feel some resistance and check for some initial leaks. We'll put the Pitman arm or the drag link back on and fire up, let her run and let her cycle, move the wheels back and forth, get the air out of the system, and then we should be ready for a little cruise. Okay, so doing what I said, I'm just leaving the Pitman arm disconnected, cranking the wheel lock to lock. Made it pretty easy to get the air out of the fluid, or not most of the air. There's going to be some aeration there until it gets fully bled out, but it got it primed up pretty easy. I just cycled it a few times. They say you to do it about 15 times, lock to lock, in the instructions. So I basically did that and just kept doing lock to lock without the engine running, and I got some fluid circulating there, and then I cranked it just a few times without starting it. Checked the fluid level, made sure it had fluid in it, and then cycled it again, fired it up afterwards, and then started cycling it with it running, and now I've got it running. And one way you can tell that you've got power steering when you don't have your steering connected, you can turn it either full lock to the left or the right. When you hit the internal stop, just lightly kiss that internal stop and you'll hear it go. So that's how you know you've got circulation. So basically now we've got some foamage. We're gonna let that settle, and then I'm actually gonna go take it for a test drive after I get the steering and everything hooked up and buttoned up. we'll take it for a little test drive, and then when we get everything warmed up, we'll check the fluid, or I'll let it rest, and then we'll check the fluid, make sure we don't have any air, make sure we're up to level, and we should be good to go. I may come back and change it out. There is still some ATF in there, some residual, so I'm probably gonna do a few cycles. So I'll probably do a flush on it after we get some drive time on it, get that steering gear kind of broke in. Did notice a little seepage going on there. I gave her another crank. Hopefully it doesn't leak. Oh no. Track bar is snug. Drag link is installed, snug. Pitman arm nut is snug. Lines are snug. I torqued down the frame to steering box bolts. I also cleaned the frame and everything, make sure there was no dirt in between everything. There also appears to be no cracks in the frame, so we're good there. Like I said, if I find cracks in the frame, I'm aborting this truck and gonna build the other one. Yeah, so with all that tightened up and the extra bolt being where it should be, and the new steering box, let's take a look. Now, our steering wheel, I might have to adjust the link to push to extend it, and that will move this over. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, let's do the before. This is with the old steering box and the messed up track bar bracket. And look at this. Like there's a little bit of a ka-chunk there, but I can't find that ka-chunk, but it's not in the tie rods or ball joints or anything. Okay, let's unlock the steering wheel. Oh, look at that. Like that right there is flexing the rag joint, but this, wow. Oh, okay, I gotta go clean up. We gotta drive this. That's miles better. I mean, all that is, can't see. Yeah, we'll see how that drives. That feels amazing. That's miles better. It's not as springy. So probably the next thing would be to get that Borgeson steering shaft and see how that goes. That might actually, we'll get rid of that rag joint. I wonder if I could put you guys, it's too hard. Okay, let's go for a drive. It's a little too dark for video recording. But I can at least talk to you. What's rattling? I got stuff that rattles in this truck. Oh, I got a Cummins in here, that's why. Yeah, the steering is tight. We'll see how she does. Watch it just be the same. That jam nut thing that was looking like it was loose, I got that tight. Windows fogging up. Yeah, this steering wheel is much tighter. The steering wheel is almost centered. That's actually kind of nice. Oh yeah, she's cold. So one part I'm waiting on is my Heim joint for the track bar. So once I get that, we'll put that in. The other end of the track bar seems to be pretty solid. It's just that upper end is goofy. It's a custom made part. doesn't seem to be leaking any more than it was before I tightened it up. Gotta check those caps. Should have done that before I went for a drive. Those caps we need to check. But yeah, this drives, I would say the steering box took out at least 10% of the play in the steering, and then doing the track bar fix, which is basically just finishing up installing it properly, made the biggest difference. I think a lot of my springiness now is just whatever's in that bushing that's in there, so that Heim joint that I got on order will take care of that. And then I think really the ultimate fix here is getting rid of the stock steering shaft and getting a Borgeson unit in here. So I have the money to do it. I've been trying not to spend money, just to spend money. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and order those. The steering shaft will be a nice upgrade for this truck. So that's one thing we're gonna get. We'll do the rod end, and then that'll just about have the steering button up. The steering wheel is just a titch off to the right. What's going on here? I'm gonna leave it for now because it always seems like these trucks, I don't know if it's just a Ford thing, whether you got a solid axle or not, they always tend to lean a little left, like some of my friends. But yeah, I just took it for a rip down the highway. So before I put the steering box in, I had a significant amount of input just to keep it kinda going straight down the road. Now it's very little input. I mean, I'm talking like just small increments. So I think when we do the steering ram down there and the rest here, this thing's gonna be rock solid going down the road, and it actually rides better. I've noticed that it just felt like it was doing this and it didn't ride right. The other thing I want to put on here is Bilstein shocks. So that's something we may end up doing, but I think I'm going to go ahead and order the Borgeson shaft. Still waiting on my rod end, and then probably order the steering ram. Probably wait on that. I want to do the Borgeson shaft first, and then we'll do the steering ram. I want to see what the Borgeson shaft does. But so far, I'm pretty happy with this. I can drive my truck. It feels safe again, or it feels safe for the first time. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, got a little bit of a mess I made there with power steering fluid, but oh well. Yeah, when it gets a little nicer out, we start hitting spring, I'm gonna give this thing a bath and get these wheels polished up. They're pretty bad. Get them polished up and coated. This truck's been off-road a lot, camping and goofing around and stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So anyways, guys, thanks for joining me with this adventure, trying to get this truck fixed up a little bit. I don't know what the next few videos are going to be, but we're definitely kind of focused on fixing the steering on this truck. So anyways, guys, that's going to be it for now. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the links down below. See you later.